So a big reason that we planted at this farm was all around soil health. That's a really big focus for the farmer there. And the trees just help stabilise that and stop all those sediments and pollutants getting into the river. I think a bigger focus on smaller tributaries and even ditches can make a huge difference.
We are the Great Northumberland Forest, a project to plant millions of trees, creating more wooded landscapes across Northumberland by 2030. Trees offer a range of benefits for you, your land and your business, so whether you want to diversify your income, increase biodiversity, improve soil and water health or reduce carbon in the atmosphere, trees can play a big part. We're determined to leave a better, more diverse and more productive natural environment for future Northumbrians.
So a big reason that we planted at this farm was all around soil health. That's a really big focus for the farmer there, and planting infield trees makes a huge difference for that. They provide shade and they stabilise the soils as well on the hill. Another big reason was around the tree diversity that was already on that farm. They were all really similar species and a very similar age. So in about 10 years, all those trees are going to die. So we've aimed to do a range of planting over the next kind of 5 to 10 years so that we've got a mix of tree ages on the farm.
We hear a lot about riparian planting in ribbons of trees along riverbanks, but this planting was further back. Does that make any difference in the impact they have on river health?
Yes, definitely. So we get this a lot. And what we always say is that you can't have a healthy river without good land management. So as I mentioned, it's a really big difference for soil stability. So imagine if you've got a really, really steep hill and there's no trees on that hillside, you're going to get a lot of runoff from any fertilisers used. You're going to get the soil running off and heavy rainfall. And the trees just help stabilise that and stop all those sediments and pollutants getting into the river.
And is this the first project that you've done on this farm?
It is, yeah. We did work with him in one of our facilitation funds through Natural England. That was all around delivering workshops with other farmers that do similar techniques. But this was the first kind of on-the-ground works that we did with him.
I mean, it sounds like you're looking to do more over the next few years. Does that all involve tree planting or are there other aspects?
Yeah, all tree planting. So we're hoping to do more infield trees over the next at least 5 years, I would say, just a little bit each year to kind of give that diversity to the age range of the trees.
And is it infield trees which provide the most benefits in terms of river health, or would a mix of hedgerows and other types of planting also work? I'm guessing it's a balance between this and what the farmer is willing to do.
Yeah, a little bit of everything of what you've just mentioned, to be honest. The hedgerows are really good. They're better than infield trees for controlling things like runoff because they're more dense. But infield trees will help a lot more with the soil stability because you get the wider spread throughout the field. And on the farming side of things, it's also really helpful for shade for livestock. So yeah, that's really beneficial for the farmer.
I understand it was a big volunteer effort to do the tree planting and setting up the cactus guards. How did it go?
Quite mixed, to be honest. So it was the first task that we did with cactus guards. We have done others since. So yeah, you put a team of volunteers against a big spiky metal kind of fence, and it's a bit daunting, but they took to it really, really well, and they ended up absolutely loving it. Definitely a big glove job, and yeah, hard going, but really successful.
Together we funded 150 trees at West Wharmley. What types of tree planting are you seeing increasing demand for?
Definitely hedgerows. So hedgerow planting isn't something that we've done a lot of until the kind of last 2 or 3 years. And then farmers seem really keen to get them in the ground. I think there's just wider awareness around the huge benefit of hedgerows, both for wildlife and for the farm itself.
And looking ahead, what kind of planting opportunities to support rivers do you see in Northumberland?
I think a bigger focus on smaller tributaries and even ditches can make a huge difference. So a lot of tree planting is often focused around the main rivers, the main South Tyne or the North Tyne, which obviously is really, really beneficial. But we really want to cool down waters, and water gets very hot in those shallow, smaller streams. So that's going to be kind of where our focus is. To try and get those smaller tributaries and ditches planted up so we can get some shade in there for all the fish and invertebrates that live in those streams.
And how close would you plant to a watercourse? Just thinking about getting the dappled shade. Is it sort of 5 or 10 metres?
Probably around kind of your 5 to 10, but it does change with each site, mainly depending on the flood risk. So if it's a high flood risk, we'll plant further away. Lower flood risk, we'll go as close as we can. We'll try and use the terrain around the stream as well. So if there's a big hillside on the south side, that's perfect because that's going to create the most shade that we can get out of the trees. So that's our kind of focus.
So looking at some of the technical aspects, when planning the site preparation, do you look to do much ground prep, just like hand screefing, to achieve soil contact, but with minimal soil disturbance?
To be honest, we do really limited prep work, and we basically go in with a spit and dig the hole. We tend to do notch planting. Sometimes if there's a lot of rank grasses in there that are going to outcompete the small tree sapling, we'll kind of do a square and turn that upside down, and then that settles into the ground really quickly, so the disturbance is really low.
And are there species which provide greater benefits?
Yeah, so we tend to plant a mix of species along rivers. So, your typical, your alder, your willow, hawthorn, things like that. At the moment, we're avoiding planting alder on the River Reed because there's an alder disease spreading, and that's spread through the water. So anything within the flood zone is going to get disease. So we have recently done some planting away from the flood zone, and we've planted alder there. So it'll be really interesting to see how that works going forward.
So what can Tyne Rivers Trust offer to landowners and land managers?
So we've got a really experienced and skilled volunteer team that have been doing things like tree planting, invasive species control, erosion control for years and years. So if people get in touch, we can quite often come out and help with the practical side of things.
And can others get involved as well?
Yeah, so our volunteer programme is a really flexible programme. People can just get in touch with their details. They can come every single week if they want to. They can come once a year. It completely depends on them, but we've got lots to offer.
If you have land in Northumberland and trees will help you or nature, please get in touch. You can reach us on email at inquiries.forest@northumberland.gov.uk or on our phone number 01670 623 416.